So I was watching a little bit of an interview that On the TIRA did with a couple of networks, one of them being Univision. Specifically, they were asking him questions about, credibility, his credentials, and specifically asking him about what he does with misinformation. There's a journalist up there who even asked him, like, how do we bridge the gap between social media and journalists? And reporters on television and the news media, how do you bridge the gap? I think it's a legit question, right? Like, how do you bridge the gap? The more and more I think about it, it almost seems to me that when it comes to news sources and social media personalities, is that we're all in competition, right? Honestly, that's what it seems like. The thing is that it's the social media that gets the story, and it's the social media that makes things go viral, and the news sources, which they have their own social media now, right? Like, you see them on Twitter, you'll see them kind of everywhere, or on YouTube. Now they have their own YouTube channels. They will jump on and try to go from there. Now, of course, those news media outlets, they have different sources and different reach than us social media people could ever. They have a company, they have lawyers on deck, they have different things that they could do, to expand their reach. But what we have over here on social media, and I think it's very important, is that we are kind of like the people's people. Does that make sense? Like, there's something to be said about the fact that, Ahmed Belloso from Tira was getting all these tips and all this other stuff, is because he's not far removed from the people that are directly impacted by a lot of these things that are happening in the community. I started thinking about this even further, right? Um, we were getting into what Brian Entin, who is part of Legacy Media, right? Brian Entin is part of Legacy Media, and just there's a lot of people, myself included. I like Brian Entin a lot, actually. I've seen his work. I think he does phenomenal work. And shout out to him because he's getting these exclusives, and then he brought in an attorney to support some of the things that he was saying, an attorney from that county that had worked there before, right? So when it came to the Emmanuel Haro situation, like, he's bringing additional sources, right? Then there's Ahmed Belloso, who some people are like, I don't like him, yada, 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 spreading misinformation, but he's not legacy media. He's just like us, like me and everybody else. But here's the deal, man. It's like, I personally feel like at this press conference, what they did is that they tried to pass the buck. If it wasn't for social media personalities like Abby Blabby, who not only, got accurate information and put it out there with the permission of family, clearly, she even went on News Nation. If it wasn't for the fact that the, past child abuse that this man, Jake Haro, committed against his, 10-week-old child at the time, and the other child who was born with FAS, we wouldn't have known about the past child abuse that Jake Carroll had done to his very own, right? We wouldn't have known that had that not been put out there. And so, yeah, to a certain degree, it seems to me that the Riverside County, all these people, the judicial system, everybody's got egg on their face, right? And so they feel some type of way about the fact that, man, they're going to have to go out there and explain this. These children were failed, right? Emmanuel Haro was failed, not just by his family, his immediate family, not just by his own parents, but by a lot of people, right? Jay Caro violated his probation in 2024 when he picked up a weapons charge. Okay. Scheduled to go to court, I believe, in September for that 2024 weapons charge in violation of his probation. Why did it take a whole year? Had he been, held accountable for any of the things that he was doing, hell, he probably wouldn't even have been around Emmanuel, because Emmanuel was only, what, 7 months that we know of? That's what they say. And we don't know. Now, some of you guys let me know that TMZ was like directly attacking Ahmed Belloso on the TIRA, right? That called him an amateur reporter. I mean, you had TMZ coming for him, and then you had, what is it, Sheriff Chad Bianco, aka Yosemite Sam, coming after him too directly about the way in which he's handled him stuff. Some of you guys have said, I don't agree with on the TIRA. I think he was wrong for X, Y, and Z. And you guys are welcome to say that. I think that everybody's welcome to their opinion when it comes to that. Personally, I feel like, yeah, it's probably not the way that I would handle things. And definitely, he's open for criticism. I think that's with anybody. But it's the same with Brian Entin, right? Brian Entin, who also went to journalism school, right? Who I like. I think he's well respected in the YouTube community and the true crime community specifically. I think you kind of have to look at these two and kind of compare. Here you have Ahmed Belloso, who's very passionate, right? And people go to him with information. And let me tell you, I think it's whether we find information of value, whether the police find it valuable or not. I mean, this is somebody who's taking in whatever information they got and he's going out there and he's checking it out. I mean, definitely two different personalities. Outlets like TMZ, they're very threatened by people like us that are on social media talking about these true crime cases. They're very threatened. We're there, we're not a corporation, and we're out there, talking about these things. And, you know, we don't have the same veil. We still have a level of responsibility to report what we report, right? Like we have to be responsible. We don't want to intentionally give out misinformation. Although I told you guys that there's a lot of people out there that do that and they don't even correct themselves. They just give out misinformation. Whether wrong or right, they just do it. They'll be compensated for it. They don't care. TMZ is threatened by Ahmed Belloso. There were people that went into TMZ's live, right? Because they do like a little studio social media live. And when On the Tira was being mentioned, comments were being blocked. Somebody let me know that this is what was happening. TMZ has a way of working things. TMZ is so sneaky about the way in which they do things, the way in which they report, the way in which they get information. They are a celebrity gossip, outlet, right? This is a crime story where a lot of us that cover these kinds of cases, they don't really focus on that. But because it's trending on social media, because you have people like Ahmed and other social media personalities that have brought light to just what is happening, the injustices, and how this man only spent 1 day in jail, right? And the sweetheart deal that he got, and the audacity that's happening. And, all of this was uncovered by a lot of social media personalities. His background was uncovered by social media personalities. I said it before and I said it earlier. I don't think that the district attorney came it did a press conference out of the goodness of their heart because they were so concerned about the people. These attorneys, the district attorney and the sheriff, Sheriff Chad Bianco, aka Yosemite Sam, all these people, they are too far removed from the people that pay those bills. Okay, let's be very real, because what you don't want to do is come forward and yell or reprimand the community that is employing you, that you work for us, they work for us. Okay. So I thought it was interesting. Like, we're having multiple conversations all surrounding Emmanuel Haro, right? The failures of the system, the lack of transparency, and then there's this misinformation part, right? Like, it's multiple conversations, and you have different personalities that are part of this. Brian Entin, reputable background, news reporter, gave out some information that some people didn't want to hear. Ahmed Belloso, some people don't like. Guy's got 5 felonies. He'll tell you about his background. That shouldn't matter, in my opinion. If he's out there and he's changed his life and he has done things for the better. And you know what? I like Ahmed. I really do. I do. I think that people support him because he looks like us, y'all. Seemingly cares about this case, and it's affected his health. I honestly think that that's one thing that Ahmed and Brian Entin have in common, is that they investigate. They want the truth out. Different methods of doing things, absolutely, but they're still getting information and they're still doing the work that they do. And so I just thought it was interesting, because it's like, wait a minute, both of these personalities are being criticized for different things, but ultimately it's about this case, Emmanuel Haro. And overall here, what I don't want us to miss is that the DA's office in Riverside, the sheriff, Yosemite Sam, aka Chad Bianco, all of these people have dropped the ball one way or another. And yes, maybe it was a judge from the past. Let's talk about that. He made a bunch of decisions. I get that, you guys. But see, I worked in government for 10 and a half years. And let me tell you something. When one person messes up, everybody messes up. You don't get to just pass the buck there, because ultimately you guys are the judicial system. Just like when I was working in government, I was the CPS system. And when fatalities happen under our watch, guess what? Changes wasn't just for one worker, it was for everybody. Just like in the judicial system, when things go wrong there, changes don't apply to the one person. Because of that, it goes to everyone. All right. And if anything, I think that this has made me appreciate a lot of the keyboard warriors out there. And a lot of those journalists that, degrees or not, have come out and said, you know what? We're just going to go and talk about it because this is huge. And that has intimidated outlets like TMZ and others who want to be there first, who get the exclusive first, who want to do everything first, right? And they don't give an ish about anything. I'll never forget when TMZ posted Liam Payne's pictures out there, okay? When he had died. When corporations like TMZ and other news outlets, they mess up or they give wrong information, or they're trying to sell you something or tell you who to vote for or give you a message or they're not apologetic about that. No. They go from that story to the next story, right? So please note that it wasn't like TMZ was, wanting to bring awareness to the story. No, TMZ is another outlet that is about money. Okay, they don't care about Emmanuel Haro. They don't care about other children like Emmanuel, because I trust me, there's a lot of other children out there that are failed constantly, like Emmanuel. Okay, they don't care. So this is why I have bigger appreciation for the keyboard warriors. All right. So when us regular people, you know, get it wrong and we're willing to correct it, I think that says a lot about the person that's willing to correct that information. Okay? It really does. But you guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments about this. This is just commentary, just a video that I just had in my mind as I kind of, was just thinking about all kinds of things and planning other videos that I was doing. Started kind of thinking about this at a bigger scale. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out. Bye.